The Duke's Scandalous rose. The year was 1812. Westhaven Hall, an imposing Yorkshire estate of ivy-clad turrets and echoing corridors, was a symbol of power and lineage. Its young master, Alexander Everley, 9th Duke of Westhaven, had inherited the title at 25, after his father's sudden death. Now 28, Alexander was known for his icy composure and brilliance in Parliament, where his reformist ideas made him both admired and feared. Whispers followed him. He had turned down every heiress in London, spurning the glittering season. But beneath the grandeur of Westhaven's chandeliers and silk-covered drawing rooms, there was another world, the kitchens, where a girl with flour-dusted hands and a stubborn spirit worked in shadow. Chapter 1. The Girl in the Kitchens. Clara Whitfield had entered service at 14, after her parents' mysterious deaths in a carriage accident. Rumour said her father had been dismissed from an influential noble's service under scandalous circumstances, but Clara knew little beyond whispered hints. At 19, she had become the darling of the kitchens for her nimble fingers and quick wit, though her beauty, a cascade of chestnut curls, hazel eyes full of fire, made her the subject of envy among maids. She thought little of the Duke. Lords and ladies lived in a world utterly removed from her own, until, on a rainy afternoon, she slipped while carrying a tray of porcelain teacups. The crash echoed through the cavernous hall. As Clara scrambled to her knees, mortified, polished boots stopped before her. She looked up into the storm-grey eyes of the Duke himself. "Are you hurt?" His voice was low, controlled, but not unkind. "No, Your Grace," she stammered. Instead of reprimanding her, he offered his gloved hand and helped her to her feet. That moment, brief and inconsequential to anyone else, stayed with them both. Chapter 2. Forbidden Fascination. Over the next weeks, Alexander found excuses to linger near the kitchens: a sudden interest in the wine cellar, an inspection of supplies, a request to consult the cook. Clara tried to avoid his gaze, but her heart betrayed her. The servants whispered. His mother, Dowager Duchess Eleanor, grew suspicious. She had long hoped to see her son wed Lady Arabella Fairmont, the daughter of an influential earl. Arabella was elegant, cunning, and had been raised with the expectation of becoming a duchess. Clara was an interloper, and Arabella would not allow herself to be outshone by a maid. Chapter 3. A Dangerous Secret. One evening, Clara was summoned to deliver tea to the library. The Duke was alone, firelight softening his severe features. "You fear me," he observed. "I do not," she whispered, "but I know my place." He stepped closer. "And if I told you I wished for you to leave that place, Clara Whitfield, would you dare?" Her heart thundered. "You would destroy yourself for a servant." "No, I would free myself with you." But even as their bond deepened, unseen forces stirred. Clara began noticing strangers lurking near the servants' entrance, and once found an unsigned letter slipped beneath her door. "You are not safe here." Chapter 4. Blackmail and Betrayal. Days later, the household was thrown into uproar when the Dowager Duchess's pearl brooch was discovered in Clara's trunk. She was dragged before the butler and accused of theft. "I would never!" Clara cried, her voice breaking. Alexander entered, his expression thunderous. "Enough! She is no thief!" His icy glare silenced the room. Later, he confronted Arabella privately. Her cool denial only confirmed his suspicion. That night, Clara confided something she had never told anyone. Before her parents' accident, her father had worked as steward to Lord Fairmont, Arabella's father, and had been abruptly dismissed. Rumours of embezzlement had followed him, yet Clara had always suspected foul play. Now, She feared Arabella's malice ran deeper than jealousy. Chapter 5. A Scandalous Engagement. Alexander proposed in secret, vowing to protect Clara at all costs. When the announcement was made, London erupted in gossip. A duke marrying a maid! The Fairmonts were outraged. Eleanor, horrified at the scandal, threatened to disown him. But Alexander was resolute. "I will not be ruled by fear or ambition. Clara is mine." Clara, terrified for his reputation, fled the estate one stormy night, hoping to vanish quietly and spare him. Alexander followed, finding her on a deserted road, rain lashing her cloak. "You think I would let you go?" he roared, dismounting his horse. "You carry my heart, Clara. Without you, I am nothing." And there, under the pounding rain, he kissed her, sealing a love that defied every rule. Chapter 6. Shadows from the Past. Their wedding was a modest affair in Westhaven's chapel, yet it drew reporters, scandalmongers, and even threats. Days later, Clara barely escaped an arson attack in the stables, a fire set deliberately. When investigators traced the crime, shocking evidence emerged. Correspondence linking Arabella's family to a shadowy network of smugglers. Worse still, Clara's father's embezzlement was revealed to be a cover-up. He had discovered Fairmont's involvement in treasonous dealings with French agents during the Napoleonic Wars. The carriage accident that killed Clara's parents was no accident. It had been orchestrated. Clara's life was in danger not because she was a maid, but because she was a threat. Chapter 7. The Turning Point. Using his influence in Parliament, Alexander exposed Lord Fairmont's treachery. The Earl was arrested, Arabella was disgraced, and society's whispers turned from scandal to sympathy. Clara was hailed not as a mere servant, but as a woman of courage who had survived conspiracy and attempted murder. Even the Dowager Duchess relented, finally recognizing Clara's grace and strength. Chapter 8. The Duchess Who Rose from Ashes. Years later, Clara became beloved by tenants and servants alike. She opened schools for poor children, improved conditions on the estate, and supported Alexander in political reforms. Their love, forged in danger, became a legend whispered through Yorkshire. The Duke who risked everything for love, and the maid who brought light to Westhaven. One evening, watching their children chase fireflies in the rose garden, Alexander whispered, "You were the greatest scandal of my life, Clara, and the finest thing I have ever done." She smiled, leaning against him. "And you, my lord, gave me justice and a home." The end.